Craig Haddy, the art of project management. The art of project management, Craig Haddy.
This presentation focuses on the art of project management. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, in today's business world, project management is an increasingly required skill. It's often thrown upon people to manage projects, and a lot of the time they don't have the necessary training or skills. This presentation explores some of the techniques that you can use to manage projects successfully. Project management can be defined as causing a planned undertaking to happen. Projects are usually a one-time activity that have a clear beginning and a clear end. Now, bad project management can be very costly to organisations, and not only is that a financial cost, but it can also be things like reputational impact and occupational health and safety if someone gets hurt during the project. So, depending on the nature of the project. Obviously, projects come in small, to large, and of varying complexity. So, it depends on the project. Now, good project management, on the other hand, is an opportunity to use resources effectively. So, obviously, good project management, you would be doing that. You get quality outcomes, and of course, you can achieve projects in a more timely fashion. So, these are some of the benefits of effective project management. Now, project management is a planned or staged activity, as the slide on the screen demonstrates. Now, what I want you to focus on is just the headings there: the define, plan, organise, control, close. These make up what's called the project life cycle. So when you're undertaking a project, these are the types of phases that you go through. Now, they don't necessarily all happen in that order, but you may have to go back and review and do additional planning or whatever. But the key emphasis, the golden rule, is to plan, organise and control for success in project management. Now, in reality, a project life cycle is made up of a whole host of interrelated, multifaceted processes. The skill and the art of the project manager is to be able to plan, organise and control and manage each of the interrelated processes. So today I wish to focus in on what I'm going to call the 4 cornerstones of project management. And they include cost, schedule, quality and scope. Now I'll start with scope. And project scope is first and foremost the most important aspect of a project. Now that really is defined as what is contained in the project, what does the project include, and of course this is where you have the maximum chance as the project manager to control your cost outcome, because the scope impacts the cost, it also impacts on your timeline. So just to focus in on scope a little bit more, obviously poor scope definition is a major contributing factor to cost overruns. Some ways to overcome scope creep, which is what it's called, is when you go over budget, and it's usually because you have additional scope items. What you want to ensure is that you have a well-defined scope, that it's written down, preferably. That's always a good idea. In case of a dispute, you've got a clearly defined scope, and that you also consider aspects, including making sure that it's written down and well defined, and it's communicated clearly and it's achievable. These are some of the aspects of scope that need to be clear on. So moving right along, another aspect of project management that you need to consider is cost. Now, cost, the main way to gauge your cost is to get a project estimate done at the start of the project, to inform your budget, so you've got an idea of where your project's going to head in terms of the overall cost. Another area to consider is use of contingency. And contingency is a reserve amount of money put aside in case of an incidental cost variation or adjustment. And mostly in construction is when you want to allow 5 to 10% as a general rule of thumb most projects, but it does depend on the complexity of the project. So of course, consideration needs to be given to cost, and two ways to manage that are by obviously getting an estimate and having a contingency. The next aspect of the cornerstone that I wish to talk about is schedule. Now, time management obviously is very critical in a project, as often you need to complete a project on time for business reasons. So, to help ensure that projects are completed on time, it's important to have a project schedule. Now, there are tools available to help manage a project, and one of those is to use what's called a Gantt chart, and that's an example of a Gantt chart on the board. Basically, it outlines the task and the time frame it will take to achieve each of the tasks, and usually it covers the entire scope from start to finish, the project life cycle from start to finish, and that's what we call a means of managing your schedule. The final cornerstone is quality. To ensure quality, you may wish to build into your project some quality assurance measures, and these could include various examples. One is to, for example, state that you want this project to be built or made to Australian standard. There's a quality control mechanism you can use. That's just one example. There's other examples of how you can ensure you get the right quality outcome. And usually you want to specify that up front in the scope. So just summing up, to maximise your chances of project success, you need to take a balanced approach. And of course, I've mentioned scope is where you need to start. Defining your scope, well defined, plan, organise and control, and that will impact obviously on your schedule and cost. And if the scope changes, you want to make sure you've got increases also in your schedule and budget to cater for the additional scope requests. So, in conclusion, successful project management is an art and it takes practice. The techniques and ideas that I've presented today are some of the ideas that you could use to help manage your projects. So best of luck everyone in your project management endeavours, and thank you. This is Toastmaster.